Hello everyone, I'm back again, and since a lot of you guys wanted me to make a top 10 video, here it is. I hadn't watched a lot of Bollywood films until I started preparing for this video, but after watching a bunch of films, some of which have made the list, I can confirm that Bollywood does make some incredible films every year. I wondered what if I do this retrospective and make a video on the best films of the decade instead of just the year, because that way we can actually show the greatest films that have come out of Bollywood in the past few years. If you don't see a film you loved, oops, it's probably not bad, it's just not what I'd consider the best Bollywood film of the decade in my opinion. Also, yes, the films are Bollywood, so don't come at me saying, bro, why no village rock stars and all? So before we begin with the actual good stuff, there are a few honorable mentions. No hate to these films, I think they were amazing, but they weren't as good as the ones in the top 10. If you feel otherwise, superb. So here are the honorable mentions. We have Queen, A Death in the Gunj, and Delhi Belly. Great, with that being said, kicking off at number 10 on this list is... I know a lot of you are probably expecting this to be a joke, but no. At number 10, we do have Anurag Kashyap's epic revenge story that spans over decades. Anurag Kashyap sticks to his roots, and this two-part epic definitely got him all the fame he deserved, including a mention in the Guardian's list of top 100 films of the decade. The film even ranked above The Dark Knight, and if you don't already see it, let me say it directly. I felt this film was overhyped. It was good. It was actually brilliant. The acting is perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing about this film. But for me, it just became a little too lengthy to a point where I lost my overall connect with the characters. I love the tone of this two-part saga, but if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be super excited to sit down and rewatch the films again. Okay, great. Seeing that majority of you have already left, let's move ahead with the film at number 9, which is taken by Shujit Sircar's October. This film is hated on by so many people, and that's maybe one of the main reasons why I love this film even more. It's definitely Shujit Sircar's career best work yet, which is a huge thing to say because he hasn't really made a bad film till date. Varun Dhawan showed the middle finger to everyone who said he couldn't act. This film is so heartfelt and poetic and is rhythmic with some beautiful symbolism, and while the tone remains dark and sad for most of the film, I felt like this was such a beautiful film, and it seems so personal. What's more memorable? The fact that this film has probably the most hush-hush title, or the downright addictive title song. Yeah, probably the title song. Love S-Word or Dhoka is disturbing but such an essential film to watch. This film is bold and is one of the most unique films I've seen till date. Dibakar Banerjee does something extremely difficult by telling 3 stories, and he manages to connect all 3 in the craziest possible way. Shot on 3 different cameras, this film also saw the debut of Rajkumar Rao, who went on to make some epic films before skydiving his career into the ground. No hate to the man, but try to remember any of his films after Newton. LSD is entertaining yet disturbing and stirring. The film has so much to say that it left me speechless. Okay, come on, you guys have to admit that last line made you have a slight crush on me. No? Geez, okay, well, either way, I can see a lot of you are gonna hate me because the film that I ranked number 7 is... I watch this film once a month because everything seems so right about the film. But well, the more I see it now, I find certain mistakes that, well, make this not the best film of the decade. The story is very fresh, and the jokes in this film are always going to be funny even after 100 rewatches. It's a very important film about life and friendship and so much more. I guess you already knew that. I think Zoya Akhtar is one of the best directors in Indian cinema, and I think we can all agree that ZNMD is that one film nobody can ever hate. And in the off chance that you do hate it, please just unsubscribe already. Okay, I'm kidding, don't do anything stupid like that. But hey, if you like ZNMD, trust me, we all did. But I'm just saying there are better films out there. And on that note, at number 6 we've got Shakun Batra's Kapoor and Sons. Okay, was it just me or did you guys also cry when you watched this film? The film explores the lives of an Indian family on the verge of breaking apart in a very real and believable way. Sure, the film may not address a few problems in the best manner, but it does exactly what it intends to do. Increase the sales of sweet cigarettes. Okay, of course I'm kidding, but that was such an amazing scene in the film. It's a really emotional film and it had some solid performances, especially from Rishi Kapoor and Siddharth Malhotra. I cannot wait to see what Shakun Batra comes up with next. So at number 5 we've got the rhythmic, soulful and artistic India's ticket to the Oscars, The Lunchbox. The fact that this film wasn't India's Oscar entry in 2013 shows the chutzpah of the dudes controlling the entire Oscar entry thing. The film has a premise that was loved not only by the audiences, but it's exactly the kind of thing that the members of the Academy drool over. This Rail Dior winner has a simple story that has a long-lasting impression on the viewers. Every time I watch this film now, I realize how much I'm going to miss Irfan Khan, a man with so much talent. At number 4, we've got Neeraj Khaiwan's debut in the form of Masaan, which was my favorite Hindi film for the longest time. It is visually beautiful and catches every ember that burns in the Shamshan Ghats by the river Ganga, which plays a crucial element in the film. The river cleanses, redeems, and brings hope for the different characters, whose unique stories are told through this film. It is funny, but it's also emotionally draining, and one knows they're in for a serious film, talking about pressing themes from the very first scene itself. In short, Masaan is excellent, with breakthrough performances from the cast, especially from debutante Vicky Kaushal and veteran Sanjay Mishra. Speaking of excellent films, the film on my number 3 is what comes to my mind at first when I hear the word. When I saw the trailer for this film, I instantly knew that this film would be one of the best films I would watch in 2017, and when I finally watched it, well, spoiler alert, my prediction wasn't wrong. Newton is seemingly simple, but don't let that simplicity blind you from realizing the depth in every dialogue. Rajkumar Rao is at his very best, and Pankaj Tripathi, who in my opinion is like the essence of every film that stars him, is fabulous. The film teaches us a lot while speaking very little. There is a lovely yet nervous setting of rural India with the looming threat of Maoists. The screenplay is perfect, and the theme is brought out masterfully without the need of any huge monologue. And again, that perfect ending. A bold satire that shows the reality of elections in our democracy. This film is witty and super smart, just like its namesake. The film that takes the second spot in our list is perhaps the one film apart from The Lunchbox that genuinely had a huge Oscar-winning potential. The ship of Theseus is philosophical from the very first frame. The film asks you a question, and then as you watch the film and expect an answer, the film makes you find your own answer as you watch the film. Maybe your answer doesn't match with mine, but who cares? This isn't an exam. It's film. Film at its finest. There's stunning cinematography with such introspective dialogues. To quote the film itself and describe it in 2 words, the film is intellectual masturbation. The Ship of Theseus is a masterpiece. The moment the final act comes to a closure, you slowly start realizing that you watch not just a mere film. You've experienced something. Something so personal, yet so far-fetched. Something that words couldn't describe even if it tried to. And with that, we have the final film on our list. The number 1 film, the best of the decade. Yep, that's right. You must have already guessed it. And if somehow you haven't guessed it, let me break it to you. I'll tell this once and I'll tell it 1,000 times. Kalank is way ahead of its time. While बाकी सब film first class है, Kalank master class है. And I love the direction, the acting, the storyline. Okay, obviously guys, I was kidding. No disrespect to the non-existent Kalank fans out there, but Kalank isn't the number 1 film on this list, just to be clear. Which I know is a shocker. Our number 1 film actually comes in the form of Vikramaditya Motwane, aka Maman from Slumdog Millionaire's debut feature film.
मेरी तरह होता अगर खुद पर ज़रा भरोसा तो कुछ दूर तुम भी साथ साथ आते रंग मेरी आंखों का बांटते ज़रा सा तो कुछ दूर तुम भी साथ साथ आते नशा आसमान का जो चूमता तुम्हें हसरतें तुम्हारी नया जन्म पाती खुद दूसरे जन्म में मेरी उड़ान छूने कुछ दूर तुम भी साथ साथ आते
Udaan has redefined the coming of age genre in our country, and it's a breakthrough for Indian films. There are multiple montages which are worth taking notes from. To have such a perfect debut is something many only dream of. Co-written by a somewhat famous director, The premise of this film isn't something awfully new, but its execution is so masterful that it definitely takes a top spot on this list. This film showed us characters who may not be the most likable, but at the same time aren't completely heartless. And in doing that, Udaan finds its heartbeat. A film that inspires youth to follow their passion, to run, to fly, and eventually soar. Poetic and rhythmic along with the career best performance from Ronit Roy, Udaan is my favorite Bollywood film of the decade and one of my favorite films of all time. And with that, we've come to the end of this list. If you guys haven't seen some of the films in this list, then go ahead and do watch them. If you feel like I've missed out on a particular film that you strongly urge should be on this list, oops, I'm kinda sorry, but yes, do write the name of those films in the comments and do let me know what you think about this list in the comments once again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Until then, take care and stay safe.